7 minutes from now. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you everyone for attending. Dr. Basil Barakat. I'm the head of computer science and AI at Goldsmith, University of London, and I'm presenting a paper called Mining the Pre-1948 Palestinian Press. So just according to some sources, there was nobody in that land, so these papers don't exist somehow. Apologies for this. Okay, so I had a look and I was very curious to know what was the narrative back in history before the 1948. And uh, my kind of lens I was looking at is a lot of the stories, just like the previous talk, a lot of the stories, the narratives from people, but I didn't have really data to support what the narrative was. So here in out of curiosity, really, I looked at previous media and I was very interested to see the newspapers. So this newspapers, they're archived, they're saved as scanned images. A lot of them in the British Library, a lot of them also in Israeli sources, but these are kind of archived, saved, and never been used in large research like this one. So the issue or the challenge really from computer science or from AI point of view is the Arabic text. So if we have just one very important issue here, which is the Balfour Declaration in the Palestine newspaper, we can look at some of the challenges, things like, I hope you can see my cursor, but here the text comes in unusual places. Some of it is handwritten in the graphs. Sometimes it goes over 2 columns, sometimes it's 1 column, and it's very challenging from OCR point of view to create a data set that represent this narrative. So out of quite a lot of experiments I've done looking at Arabic OCRs, how can we create Arabic text or Arabic scans into text? Eventually, I wanted to build this data set that represent what was happening. So this study, I presented 4 stages. First one is acquisition. Since these data sets are saved in archives and it's not very API accessible or quite easily accessible, so I had to do quite a lot of manual pipelines really to download the data sets and create a data set of PDFs for now, then run them through different OCRs to get the text itself, eventually to extract some patterns in the data set itself and visualize them for this work. And there's obviously quite a lot of work to be done after this. So the newspapers I picked here is these 5 newspapers, and they're quite diverse in their interest and their editorial point of views. So Lisan al-Arab, for instance, is quite short from 21 to 25, and it was very nationalist newspaper. Al-Bushra was a surprising one for me personally because it takes religious point of view that is not the majority of the Palestinians or the people living in the land at that time. Al-Karmel and Difa in Palestine, they're more famous ones, they're more archived ones, and they start from 1908. So we're looking even before the World War I, the Palestinian newspapers were quite active, the editors were putting these on, and eventually this can create quite rich data set for working on. Some of them are missing, some of them have never been archived, some of them are just skipped if they're weekly data newspapers because of what was happening in the war and so on. So it's not a complete, it doesn't have everything in it, but I tried to get as much as possible from these 5 newspapers. So the data set here, I've taken the scans and this text, tried to put it through quite a lot of OCRs. I tried the Arab OCR, I tried few of the state-of-the-art ones, but because the data set is so hard to deal with, the scans, as you can see in this example, is non-consistent. The only one that actually worked was the Google API. That got quite good results. This also based on my personal, I was checking the newspapers, the scans, and see if the words make sense or no. Yes, the Google Vision API was quite good. And then I experimented with few threshold confidence value. I think the 0.6 was the one that gets quite a lot rich data set, but also understandable for my eye when I was scanning them. So different fonts, different languages, different presentations. I had to force them all into UTF-8 to get a consistent output, and then converted all of these into text files. Now, after I got this text files, I was happy, like, oh, finally. Then I was like, okay, I created PDF to text. What's next? So I was looking into how can we get this. Sorry. Okay, yeah, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, so I was looking into how can we model the topics. How can we look at the most important time points in the Palestinian narrative? And to do that, obviously, because this is an Arabic language, it doesn't always use a standard or formal language as well. So the backbone here, I used the Arab BERT, which was quite good. And then to extract keywords, I used KeyBERT to extract the top topics. I used 1 to 3 engrams to get phrases and understand the idea, the main topics that have been discussed. This is just a semantic space. You can see things like Palestine, الانتداب البريطاني, ثورة 1936, and so on.
Dr. Bassel, the time has now finished. If you can wrap up.
Oh, okay, sure, thank you. So then I used MaxSum algorithm to get better diversity of the data set, and the threshold I've experimented on just to get rid of non-readable words. Eventually, the last stage was just to visualize the top topics, and this is a snapshot of some of the data set of some of the newspapers. Obviously, I didn't filter stop words, I didn't filter the newspaper name, so this will be quite repetitive in the data set. More work to be done here, such as this example here. The word Palestine was quite repetitive, and I did time series analysis, of course, on it to track different keywords, how do they change with time, and eventually got this data set that will be made online once I get some time to clean it up. Thank you, and if you have any questions or you want to read the manuscript, I've placed it here, and this is my email address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bassel.
Any questions?
We have questions later. Do you have time for questions? No.
Do we have questions? Do we have time for questions?
A minute and a half. Yes, a minute and a half.
Minute and a half.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is really, really interesting. So the size, I missed when you talked about the size of the data set. Yeah.
Yeah, so the question was on the size of the data set, and this slide has it. So each the newspaper is usually between 4 and 5 pages, and some of them are weekly, some of them are monthly. Al-Bushra is the one that's monthly, and it's quite longer. And each of these pages are extracted to text and then all created as one text file.
We have time for a very quick question.
Sure. Maybe you can ask.
It's very quick. I was just wondering how you got the scans, where you got them from. I don't know if I missed it or you mentioned it, or yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's a good question on the source of this data set. So there's two main sources. The British Library has one large scans, and the Israeli Library has the other one, which is an interesting point of view. But also, just recently after this, I heard that some newspapers in Jordan have the old versions still in physical form. So maybe at some point I'll get my hands on them.
So who has the copyright? This library? Or now you can share it?
So the ones on archive are in open access. Anything you extract from original dataset is gonna be open access, because it's editor should be the copyright of the newspapers itself as well.
Well, our last question. What is the accuracy of the segmentation of Google project? Just the segmentation.
The segmentation was actually the hardest part, because each comment or each article was sometimes in a single column or sometimes in double column. So the workaround I've done is I took it page by page. Otherwise, I couldn't do it. And these lines between different columns are handwritten. So, okay. Maybe you can ask.
Okay, we have to stop now. Sorry.
Okay, maybe after. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Who's the next speaker?
The next speaker